The night he burned my acceptance letter. I could still smell the paper turning to ash mixed with the sound of bones cracking against the wall and my stepfather's roar, "You're not going anywhere." I'd been paying their mortgage for 3 years, receiving nothing but contempt and bruises in return until I found the neighbor's doorbell camera footage. They called me their cash cow, but I had receipts, recordings, and a secret in the safe that would burn their entire family to the ground. When he smashed my phone to destroy the evidence, he didn't know I'd already enabled automatic cloud sync. My name is Mara Ellison, and I'm 29 years old. For 3 years. I've been the invisible backbone of a family that sees me as nothing more than an ATM with a pulse. That Tuesday evening in March started like any other me coming home from my logistics coordinator job at Northridge Freight Works. Exhausted but hopeful, clutching the envelope that was supposed to change everything. The acceptance letter from Westbrook State University's evening MBA program felt like salvation in my hands. 3 years of applications, studying for the GMAT after 12-hour shifts, saving every penny while sending $1,800 monthly to my mother and stepfather Dale Riker for household expenses. This was my ticket out, my chance to become more than the forgotten daughter who paid the bills. I should have hidden it, should have known better than to bring hope into that house. "What's that?" Dale's voice cut through the kitchen as I set down my work bag. 6'2" of entitled rage wrapped in a beer-stained Patriots jersey. He'd been my stepfather for 7 years, but acted like he'd owned me since birth. "Just mail," I said. But my mother Linda had already seen the university logo. Her eyes widened not with joy, but with the familiar terror of knowing Dale would explode. "University mail." Tyler, my 25-year-old half-brother, snatched it from the counter before I could react. "Look at this Mara got into business school." His laugh was cruel, mocking, the golden child who'd never worked a day in his life, driving the used Camaro that my contributions to Mom had mysteriously funded. Dale's face darkened. "Let me see that." The next moments played in slow motion, him reading, the vein in his temple pulsing, my mother shrinking into herself by the stove. Then he held the letter over the gas burner. "No," I lunged forward, but he backhanded me across the face. I stumbled, catching myself on the counter as the letter ignited. "You think you're better than us." He let the burning paper fall into the sink. "You think you can just leave who's going to pay the mortgage, who's going to keep this family afloat while you play student. I've been paying your mortgage for 3 years. The words erupted from me. $65,000. Dale? I have every bank statement, every transfer. His fist connected with my ribs. I doubled over, gasping, while Tyler filmed on his phone, laughing. "This is hilarious. Wait till I post this. You're nothing but a cash cow." Dale spat. "That's all you've ever been good for. Your mother and I took you in when no man would want you, and this is how you repay us." Linda stood frozen, spatula in hand, watching her daughter crumble on the kitchen floor. Not a word of protest, not a move to help. "The money transfers continue," Dale said, stepping over me. $1,800 on the 1st of every month, just like always. Or you can find somewhere else to live tonight. Through tears, I watched the last ember of my acceptance letter die in the sink. The bruise was already forming on my ribs, my face throbbing where he'd struck me. But something else was building too, a cold, calculating fury I'd never felt before. My phone buzzed. A notification from my banking app, reminder automatic transfer of $1,800 scheduled for April 1st to Linda Riker. Then another notification. Your Westbrook State University application documents have been saved to your cloud drive. Tyler was still recording. Too stupid to realize he was creating evidence. Through the window, I glimpsed our neighbor Mrs. Patterson walking her dog. Her house's doorbell camera pointed directly at our front porch, the porch where my screams had echoed just moments ago. Dale's text came through at 10:45 that night. Transfer as usual before 9. Tomorrow. Don't test me. I lay in my childhood bed, cataloging every payment, every bruise, Every moment of humiliation. They wanted their cash cow. They were about to learn what happens when you back a wounded animal into a corner. The letter might be ash, but I had the digital acceptance. More importantly, I had 3 years of evidence they didn't know existed. Tomorrow, they expected their money. Tomorrow, everything would change. The $1,800 started 3 years ago, right after Linda married Dale. I'd just gotten promoted at Northridge Freight Works, finally making decent money, when Dale cornered me in this same kitchen. "Family helps family," he'd said, sliding a past-due mortgage notice across the counter. "Your mother's credit is shot, and mine's not much better. But you've got a steady job. The bank just needs to see regular payments coming in." I was 26, naive, desperate to belong in this reconstituted family. "Just until we get back on our feet," Linda had promised, tears in her eyes. 6 months, maybe a year. That year became 3. The temporary help became an expectation, then a demand. Every first of the month, $1,800 vanished from my account, more than half my take-home pay. I lived on ramen and hope, wearing the same work clothes until they frayed, while Tyler got his car, his gaming setup, his weekend trips to Charlotte. But here's what they didn't know. I kept everything. Sloane Pierce, my best friend since high school and now a forensic accountant, had warned me from the beginning. Document everything. Mara, every single transaction. 3A found me at my laptop, pulling up 3 years of bank statements. The evidence was devastating. 36 monthly transfers totaling $64,800, each marked for mortgage in the memo line. Dale had insisted on that, said it was for tax purposes. His first mistake. But the mortgage wasn't the whole story. Sloane had helped me dig deeper last month when I'd started sensing something was off. Dale and Linda's mortgage was only $1,200 a month. Where was the extra $600 going? "This is interesting," Sloane had said, cross-referencing public records. "Your stepfather's been receiving payments from First Baptist's hardship fund, $2,000 a month for the past 2 years. "But that's for families in crisis," I'd protested. "Families who can't make ends meet?" "Exactly. He's been double-dipping, taking your money and claiming poverty at church." The manipulation ran deeper than money. Sunday dinners at church, where Dale would loudly praise Tyler's ambitions while mentioning how I helped out when I could, making it sound like pocket change rather than my life's blood. The neighborhood barbecues where Linda would sigh about her career-focused daughter who was too independent for her own good. "No wonder you're still single," Aunt Patricia had said at last month's family gathering. "Men don't like women who put money before family." They'd isolated me professionally, too. Dale had shown up at my office twice, making scenes about family emergencies that turned out to be demands for extra money. My manager had started giving me concerned looks. "Everything okay at home?" Mara. The pattern was clear now. Financial abuse wrapped in family obligation, seasoned with public humiliation. My phone lit up with an email notification at 4:15 a.m. Westbrook State University Admissions Office. "Congratulations again on your acceptance. As requested, we've attached a PDF copy of your acceptance letter. Please note that you have until April 15th to confirm your enrollment." April 15th. 2 weeks to escape this hell. Another memory surfaced last Christmas, when I'd mentioned taking a vacation. Dale had laughed. "Vacation. You can't even cover your share of household expenses without complaining." This while Tyler posted Instagram photos from his Myrtle Beach trip, funded by a family investment. The revelation that changed everything came from an unexpected source. Our mailman, Robert, had accidentally delivered the Rikers mail to my apartment last week. Between the credit card offers was a statement from the county tax office. The house I'd been paying for wasn't even in Dale's name. It was in his mother's name. She'd been dead for 5 years. Dale had been collecting my money for a mortgage that might not even exist. Or worse, for a house he'd already inherited free and clear. The bad credit story. Another lie to keep me paying. I scrolled through my photos, finding the one from Tyler's birthday dinner 2 months ago. There I was in the background, exhausted, while Tyler opened an envelope from Dale containing $500 my money, gifted back to the family golden child while I was sitting right there. The group text from Dale popped up at 6:30 a.m. Family meeting tonight at 7. Mandatory. We need to discuss household contributions going forward. Going forward, as if he assumed my slavery was eternal. I opened my banking app, staring at the scheduled transfer. 1 click to cancel it. 1 click to start my revolution. But not yet. First, I needed insurance. The email to myself was simple: all statements, all screenshots, all evidence, uploaded to 3 different cloud services. Subject line: the truth about the Rikers. Dale thought he owned me. Tomorrow. He'd learn he'd only been renting. The evidence checklist consumed my Thursday morning. I called in sick to work the first time in 2 years and began building my case with methodical precision. First, the digital trail. I downloaded 36 months of bank statements, highlighting each transfer to Linda's account. Screenshots of text messages from Dale. Transfer now. Don't forget the money. And my personal favorite. You're nothing but a cash cow, but at least you're useful. He'd actually written that last December when I was 5 hours late with the payment due to a system error. The Westbrook acceptance letter PDF went into a folder labeled Destroyed Opportunity. I added the course catalog showing the program cost $32,000 over 2 years, half of what I'd already given them. Mrs. Patterson was pruning her roses when I approached her fence at 11 a.m. Mara, honey, are you all right? I heard some commotion Tuesday night. Actually, Mrs. Patterson, that's what I wanted to ask about. Your doorbell camera, does it keep recordings? Her face softened with concern. It saves everything for 30 days. I heard screaming. Dear, should I have called someone? Could I possibly get a copy of Tuesday night's footage between 7 and 8 p.m.? She didn't hesitate. I'll email it right now. And Mara, if you need help. The video was damning. Clear audio of my screams. Dale's shouting, the sound of impact. Even Tyler's laughter carried through the night air. Next stop, Blue Ridge Legal Aid. The consultation was free, and the lawyer, Jennifer Hartman, took notes with increasing alarm as I laid out my evidence. Financial abuse is real abuse, she said firmly. The destroyed acceptance letter, the physical assault, the pattern of coercion, you have grounds for both criminal charges and civil action. But first, you need protection. She explained my options: restraining order, cease and desist, civil suit for recovery of funds. Document everything from now on. Record conversations if you can. North Carolina is a one-party consent state. By 2 p.m., I was crafting the email that would change everything. Not emotional, not angry, just facts. Dear family, friends, and community members, after careful consideration, I need to share information about my financial relationship with the Riker household. For 3 years, I have transferred $100 or $800 monthly to Linda and Dale Riker, totaling $64,800. These payments were presented as temporary assistance but became mandatory through coercion and, recently, physical violence. Attached, you will find bank statements showing all transfers, text messages demanding payment, audio from Tuesday, March 21st, when my acceptance letter to Westbrook State University's MBA program was destroyed, documentation that Dale has been receiving church hardship funds while taking my money, effective immediately. I am ceasing all financial support to the Riker household. This decision follows Tuesday's physical assault when I attempted to discuss my educational goals. I share this not for sympathy but for transparency, as I expect there may be attempts to misrepresent the situation. Sincerely, Mara Ellison. But I didn't send it. Not yet. First, I needed one more piece of evidence. That evening's mandatory family meeting would be recorded. I tucked my phone in my shirt pocket, voice recorder app running. 7 p.m. sharp. I sat at the kitchen table. Dale had paperwork spread out: utility bills, mortgage statements, credit card bills. Your contribution needs to increase. He started without preamble. $2,200 a month, starting May. I kept my voice level. Why would I pay more? Costs go up. Tyler's starting community college. With what money? I interrupted. Dale's face reddened. Your money. Family money. Same as always. The money you've been telling the church you don't have while collecting hardship funds. The silence was deafening. Linda went pale. Tyler stopped scrolling his phone. You little... Dale stood, fists clenched. I'm recording this, I said calmly. Everything you say. Turn it off. Now. No. Say it again. Dale, tell me how I'm nothing but a cash cow. Tell me how you burned my acceptance letter. Tell everyone listening how you've stolen $64,000 from me. He lunged for my phone, but I stepped back, keeping the table between us. You want to evict me? Go ahead. Evict the person paying your mortgage on a house that's not even in your name. It's in your dead mother's name, isn't it? Tyler's mouth fell open. Even he hadn't known that detail. Get out, Dale whispered, his voice dangerous. Get out of my house. Gladly. My lawyer will be in touch. As I walked to my car, bags already packed in the trunk, Dale's text arrived. If you don't transfer that money by 9 a.m., I'll destroy you. I sat in my car, looking at the house I'd funded for 3 years. Then I looked at the send button on my email, finger hovering. 8:58 p.m. 1 minute before the deadline Dale would never see met. Send. Friday morning, 9 a.m. Came and went without a transfer. By 9:05, my phone was exploding. The first call came from Linda, sobbing. Mara, please, the bank's already calling about the mortgage. Just send it this once while we figure things out. Figure what out? Mom, how you stood there while he beat me, how you watched him burn my future. You don't understand what it's like. I hung up. Dale's voicemails were less subtle. You think you're smart, I'll come to your work. I'll tell them what kind of ungrateful trash you are. Then, that email won't mean anything. Everyone knows you're a liar. And finally, you just destroyed your mother's life. Happy. But the real storm was brewing online. My email had reached 43 recipients' family, church members, neighbors, even some mutual Facebook friends. Within hours, the Asheville Community Facebook group was on fire. I always wondered how Dale afforded that boat last summer. Posted Janet Meridian, the church treasurer. $2,000 a month in hardship funds while taking money from his stepdaughter. This is fraud, wrote Reverend Williams. By noon, Tyler had shown up at Northridge Freight Works. I watched from the window as he argued with security, waving his phone, recording everything. I need to see my sister family emergency. My manager, Sandra, found me in the break room. There's a very agitated young man claiming to be your brother. Stepbrother, and he's here to harass me into giving his father money. Should we call the police? Please, and can you document this? I'm building a case. Security footage showed Tyler screaming profanities, kicking the security desk, and threatening to make me pay. The guards called the police. I filed an incident report, adding it to my growing folder. The Facebook group had split into camps. Some defended Dale. Family business should stay private, but more shared their own stories. Dale borrowed $500 from me last year, never paid it back. He told the church they were about to lose the house while posting pictures from Gatlinburg. At 2:30 p.m., the church called. Not Dale, the church council president. Marcus Webb. Miss Ellison, we've reviewed your documentation. The hardship fund requires recipients to disclose all household income. Dale never mentioned your contributions. That's $24,000 obtained under false pretenses. What happens now? We're demanding full repayment within 30 days, or we'll pursue criminal charges. The dominoes were falling faster than I'd expected, but Dale wasn't done. At 4 p.m., a legal notice arrived at Sloane's apartment where I was staying. Cease and desist defamation of character. Dale Riker demands immediate public retraction and $30,000 in damages for malicious lies. Jennifer Hartman laughed when I called her. Defamation requires the statements to be false. You have evidence for everything. This is intimidation. Nothing more. She drafted our response, delivered within 2 hours. All statements made by Ms. Ellison are factual and documented. Any attempt at legal action will result in countersuit for assault, battery, financial abuse, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Additionally, evidence will be provided to the district attorney regarding fraud against First Baptist Church. The Nextdoor app was brutal. Someone had posted Dale's mugshot from a DUI 3 years ago with the caption, "This man has been stealing from his stepdaughter and our church." Linda called again at 7 p.m. No longer crying but cold. "You've ruined everything. We're going to lose the house." "You mean Grandma Riker's house, the one that's been paid off for 5 years. Silence. "I know about the inheritance. Mom. I know Dale's been pocketing my money while the house has no mortgage. Where did $64,000 go?" She hung up. The final call of the day came from an unexpected source, June Albright, my cousin I hadn't spoken to in years. "Mara, I saw your email. I need to tell you something about Dale. When I was 16. Her story made my skin crawl. Dale's patterns of abuse went back further than anyone knew. June had been silenced by family pressure, told not to cause drama. Now she was ready to speak up. "If you need me to make a statement, I will," she offered. By midnight, the battlefield was clear. Dale's lawyer had sent another threatening email. The church had formally demanded their money back. The police had Tyler's incident on file. And my inbox had 17 messages from family members sharing their own Dale stories. But the best message was from Westbrook State. "We understand you've experienced difficulties. Your enrollment deadline has been extended to May 1st. We also have emergency scholarship funds available for students escaping domestic violence." I sat in Sloane's guest room, looking at my silent phone. No transfer made. No backing down. Tomorrow. Dale would escalate. I was counting on it. Every threat, every action, every desperate move would be documented. Let him come. The cash cow had grown horns. Jennifer Hartman's response to Dale's cease and desist was a masterpiece of legal precision. She didn't just reject his demands, she went on the offensive. "Mr. Riker, your claims of defamation are without merit. Ms. Ellison's statements are supported by extensive documentation. Furthermore, should you pursue this frivolous action, we will countersue for assault and battery documented by medical records and security footage, financial exploitation bank records of coerced payments, destruction of property, the acceptance letter, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and fraud misrepresenting mortgage needs while the property was inherited free and clear. We are also prepared to submit evidence to the district attorney regarding your fraudulent receipt of $48,000 from First Baptist Church's hardship fund." The letter continued, "Ms. Ellison requires full reimbursement of the $64,800 taken under false pretenses. If this matter is not resolved within 30 days, we will proceed with both civil and criminal actions." But the real bombshell came Saturday afternoon when June Albright posted in the Facebook group, "Since Dale Riker's character is being discussed, I need to share something. When I was 16, he cornered me during Thanksgiving at his house. He touched me inappropriately and told me I was developing nicely. When I told my mother, she said not to cause problems in the family. I've been silent for 13 years. Not anymore." The post had 200 reactions within an hour. 3 other women private messaged me with similar stories, inappropriate comments, unwanted touches, always targeting vulnerable family members or church youth. Ruth Albright, June's mother, called me in tears. I knew. God help me. I knew something was wrong, but I didn't want to break up Linda's marriage. I failed my daughter. The evidence was mounting beyond financial abuse. This was a pattern of predatory behavior enabled by family silence. Sunday brought a new crisis. The bank had sent Dale a notice of pending foreclosure not because the house had a mortgage, but because he'd taken out a home equity loan against his mother's estate without properly transferring the title. The $64,000 I'd given him, it hadn't gone to a non-existent mortgage. It had gone to gambling debts at Cherokee Casino. Linda called, her voice broken. Did you know about the gambling? No, Mom. But I know you stood by while he hit me, while he burned my letter, while he stole my future. He's saying he'll leave me if this doesn't stop, that I'll have nothing. You already have nothing. Mom, you have a husband who beats your daughter, steals from the church, and apparently gropes teenage girls. What exactly are you fighting to keep? She sobbed. But where would I go? For the first time in days, I felt a flicker of pity. She was a victim too, just a different kind. Monday morning, Dale made his biggest mistake. Drunk at 11 he started a Facebook Live video. You all want to know the truth about Mara. She's a selfish witch who abandoned her family. Yeah, I burned her stupid letter. So, what she needed to learn her place. Women like her think they're too good for everyone. I taught her respect the old-fashioned way with the back of my hand. He swayed on camera, beer in hand. And that money she owed us, for putting up with her attitude, for letting her live in my house all those years. June Albright, that lying teenage slut, came on to me. The video was screen recorded by dozens before Tyler finally stopped it. But the damage was done. Dale had confessed to assault, admitted to destroying my property, and slandered a sexual abuse victim all on camera. The district attorney's office called Tuesday morning. Ms. Ellison, we've reviewed the evidence provided by First Baptist Church and your attorney. We're opening a criminal investigation into fraud and assault charges against Dale Riker. Wednesday, the house of cards collapsed entirely. An audit revealed Dale had also been collecting disability payments while working under the table at his brother's auto shop. The IRS was notified. The state was notified. Every agency that could take a piece of Dale was circling. But the revelation that broke my mother came from an unexpected source. Tyler, panicking as his comfortable life crumbled, threw his father under the bus. Mom, he's been sleeping with Cheryl Morrison for 2 years. Everyone at the bar knows. He used Mara's money to pay for her apartment. Linda aged 10 years and 10 seconds. The man she'd sacrificed her daughter for, enabled and protected, had been cheating with the church secretary while spending my money on his mistress. Thursday night. She called me one last time. I'm leaving him. I should have protected you. I should have stood up for you. I'm so sorry. Where will you go? My sister in Tennessee. I don't expect forgiveness. I just wanted you to know. Friday arrived with Dale's final desperate play, a restraining order request against me, claiming harassment and stalking. The judge reviewed it for exactly 5 minutes before denying it and suggesting Dale focus on his mounting criminal charges instead. Jennifer forwarded me the best news. The DA is moving forward with charges. Dale's looking at serious time for fraud alone, plus the assault. Are you ready to testify? I was more than ready. The cash cow had become a bull, and the arena was set for the final fight. The reconciliation meeting was my idea, though I let Dale think it was his. After 2 weeks of legal pressure, his lawyer reached out suggesting mediation. I agreed, with conditions a public place, recording allowed, witnesses present. We met at Murphy's Diner on Tunnel Road, a busy spot with security cameras and a sign stating, "This premises under 24-hour video surveillance." I arrived at 2 p.m. sharp with Sloan, who set up her phone at the adjacent table. Dale came with his lawyer, a sweating man named Peterson who looked like he'd rather be anywhere else. My client is willing to drop all claims if you retract your statements. Peterson began. Which statements specifically? Jennifer Hartman asked coolly. The true ones about assault, the documented financial transfers, or the proven fraud against the church. Dale's face was purple with rage, but Peterson kept him in check. This has gone far enough. Families should handle things privately. I placed a folder on the table. Let's be very clear about what happened privately. I pulled out the printed screenshots. March 21st, 7:43 p.m. Dale texts, "You're nothing but a cash cow." March 21st, 8:15 p.m. Doorbell camera records my screams and Dale shouting, "You're not going anywhere." You edited those. Dale snarled. The originals are with the police. Would you like to compare? I continued laying out evidence. Bank statements, text messages, the acceptance letter from Westbrook, reprinted. You burned this. You admitted it on Facebook Live while drunk. That was taken out of context. You said, and I quote, "Yeah, I burned her stupid letter. So what, she needed to learn her place. Would you like me to play the video? The diner might enjoy it." Dale lunged across the table, grabbing for my phone. You little... The entire diner turned to watch. Sloan was recording. The security cameras were recording. 3 customers pulled out their phones. "Give me that phone," Dale roared, trying to wrestle it from my hands. "Sir, you need to calm down." The manager intervened. Dale's hand swept across the table, sending my phone crashing to the floor. The screen shattered. He stomped on it twice before Peterson and the manager pulled him back. "You think you're smart," Dale panted. "That's your only proof. Destroyed." I smiled, pulling out my actual phone from my pocket. That was a decoy, an old phone with a broken battery, worth about $20. But you just committed assault and destruction of property in front of 30 witnesses and multiple cameras. The realization dawned on his face as 2 police officers entered the diner called by the manager the moment Dale had gotten aggressive. He destroyed my property and attempted to assault me. I told the officers calmly. Multiple witnesses can confirm. "That's her phone." Dale pointed at my real phone. "She's lying." "Sir, we saw you stomp on the device." One officer said, "We're going to need you to come with us." As they cuffed him, Dale made one last desperate play. She set me up. This was all planned. I agreed to a mediation meeting in a public place. I said loudly enough for everyone to hear. "Mr. Riker chose to become violent when presented with evidence of his crimes. That's not a setup, that's a pattern." Peterson looked sick. "This meeting is over." "Not quite," Jennifer said. "We have a settlement offer. Dale signs a full confession admitting to assault, financial coercion, and fraud. He agrees to full restitution of $64,800 plus damages. In exchange, we don't pursue the maximum criminal charges." "That's extortion!" Dale screamed as the officers led him toward the door. "No," I said, standing to face him one last time. "Extortion is forcing someone to pay $64,000 under threat of homelessness and violence. This is justice." The diner erupted in murmurs as Dale was escorted out. Several customers approached to say they'd testify if needed. The manager offered me free coffee for life and gave me the security footage on a USB drive, but the best part came an hour later. Tyler, who'd been waiting in Dale's truck, had live-streamed the entire arrest on Instagram with the caption, "My dad's crazy, yo." He didn't realize he'd just created more evidence. That evening, the video was everywhere. Asheville man arrested after attacking stepdaughter in diner made the local news. The reporter interviewed witnesses who all told the same story. A calm young woman presenting documents until an aggressive man became violent. Dale's one phone call from jail wasn't to his lawyer or Linda. It was to me, a voicemail full of slurred threats. "You've ruined everything. When I get out, you'll pay for this." Jennifer had it transcribed and added to our evidence file. "He just threatened you from jail." That's another charge and definitely grounds for a permanent restraining order. By Sunday, Dale was out on bail with conditions: no contact with me, surrender of all firearms, and mandatory anger management. He'd already violated the first condition with a fake Facebook account sending me messages, "This isn't over." I screenshot everything, building my fortress of evidence. The final confrontation was coming, and this time, it would be in a courtroom where Dale's rage couldn't protect him. The trap was set. All that remained was watching him walk into it. The temporary restraining order was granted immediately after Dale's arrest at the diner, but Tyler, desperate to salvage his comfortable life, became Dale's proxy in harassment. His first attempt came Monday at 6 a.m. "You destroyed our family. Dad's facing prison because of your lies. Drop the charges or I'll make your life hell." I forwarded it to Jennifer and the police. Strike one. Tuesday. Tyler posted on Instagram. Some people are snakes who bite the hand that feeds them. Mara Ellison, you know what you did. Attached was a photo of me from 2 years ago at Christmas, edited with devil horns, screen captured, documented. Strike two. Wednesday night at 11:30. Tyler crossed the final line. He posted a video outside my apartment complex. This is where the family traitor lives. Apartment 3B. Just thought everyone should know where to find the woman who destroyed an innocent man. Sloan called me immediately. That's doxing. That's a direct threat to your safety. The police agreed. Thursday morning. Tyler was arrested for criminal harassment and intimidation. His arrest video, unlike Dale's, showed him crying and begging. I was just upset. She took everything from us. With both Dale and Tyler facing charges, the legal machinery ground forward. Jennifer crafted our civil suit with surgical precision. Plaintiff seeks recovery of $64,800 in coerced payments, $32,000 in lost educational opportunity, the MBA program, $15,000 in emotional distress damages, and $8,000 in medical and therapy costs related to assault. Total sought $119,800. Dale's lawyer countered with an insulting offer. Mr. Riker will agree to pay $5,000 over 5 years if Ms. Ellison drops all criminal charges. Tell him we'll see him in court, I responded. The financial dominoes were falling fast. The bank initiated foreclosure proceedings on the house Dale couldn't prove ownership of his mother's estate, and the fraudulent equity loan was in default. First Baptist Church's lawyer sent a demand for immediate repayment of $48,000 in fraudulent hardship funds. The IRS had frozen his accounts pending investigation of disability fraud. Linda, from Tennessee, filed for divorce and a restraining order of her own, citing financial abuse and infidelity. She also provided a sworn affidavit about Dale's violence toward me. But Dale's most spectacular self-destruction came via another drunken livestream Friday night. Despite his bail conditions, despite his lawyer's warnings, he went live on Facebook from his brother's garage. You want to know the truth? Fine, I took that girl's money because she owed me. I raised her ungrateful ass for 7 years. So what if I hit her? My father hit me and I turned out fine. The house. It's mine by rights. My mother wanted me to have it. The church money. They offered it. Not my fault they're stupid enough to believe sob stories. He swayed, taking another drink. And June Albright. That little tease knew what she was doing at 16, switching her ass around my house. The stream cut off. His brother had finally wrestled the phone away, but the damage was done. He'd confessed to everything: assault, fraud, financial abuse, and essentially admitted to sexually assaulting a minor. The district attorney called Monday morning. Ms. Ellison, with this new evidence, we're upgrading charges. Dale Riker is facing 5 to 15 years if convicted on all counts. Tuesday brought the final crushing blow. The state's investigation revealed Dale had claimed his dead mother on tax returns for 5 years, collecting her Social Security benefits. Federal charges were added to his growing list. Tyler, out on bail and finally understanding the gravity of the situation, flipped completely. He came to Jennifer's office with boxes of documents. I'll testify, he said, avoiding my eyes. Dad made me help with the tax stuff. Said it was just keeping what Grandma would have wanted us to have. I have emails, texts, everything. Why now? I asked. Because I don't want to go to prison for him. He threw everyone under the bus, you, Mom, June. I'm not taking the fall for his crimes. Tyler's evidence was devastating. Emails where Dale outlined the tax fraud, texts bragging about milking the church idiots, photos of Dale with his mistress Cheryl, paid for with my money, even a recording of Dale coaching Tyler on what to say if anyone asked about Grandma's benefits. Wednesday's preliminary hearing was a massacre. The judge reviewed the evidence, watched Dale's livestream confessions, and set bail at $500,000. Dale couldn't make it. He'd be in jail until trial. As court security led him away, Dale turned to me one last time. This isn't over. Yes, I said clearly. It is. Jennifer filed our civil suit that afternoon. With Dale incarcerated and his assets frozen, we could attach liens to the house and any future earnings. Even if he somehow avoided prison, he'd be paying me back for the rest of his life. Thursday, I got an unexpected call. Marcus Webb from the church. Ms. Ellison, the council voted unanimously. If you'd like to return to First Baptist, you'd be welcome. What Dale did, we failed you by not seeing it. Thank you, but no. That chapter's closed. Friday, I confirmed my enrollment at Westbrook State. The emergency scholarship covered half my tuition. Turns out they had funds specifically for people escaping financial abuse. My phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. My heart dropped, thinking Dale had found another way to contact me. But it was Linda. Watching the news, saw everything. You're the strongest woman I know. I'm proud of you. I didn't respond. Some bridges, once burned, couldn't be rebuilt. But for the first time in 3 years, I was free. The final hearing for the permanent restraining order was set for a Tuesday morning at 10 a.m. The courtroom was packed reporters, church members, neighbors who'd followed the saga on social media. Dale was brought in wearing an orange jumpsuit and shackles, his lawyer looking defeated before we'd even begun. Judge Patricia Henley reviewed the evidence methodically. The burned acceptance letter, the doorbell camera footage, the diner assault video, Dale's multiple drunken confessions, Tyler's testimony about the financial fraud, June's statement about the sexual assault, the threatening messages from jail. Mr. Riker, the judge said, do you deny making these statements in your live stream videos? Dale's jaw clenched. His lawyer whispered urgently, but Dale shook him off. They were taken out of context. Yes or no? Did you say these words? A long pause. Yes, but that's all I need to hear. Judge Henley's voice was steel. The permanent restraining order is granted. Mr. Riker, you are prohibited from any contact with Ms. Ellison for the rest of your natural life. Any violation will result in immediate incarceration. But we weren't done. Jennifer stood. Your Honor, we'd like to file our civil suit documentation now. The judge nodded, reviewing our claim for $119,800. Given the evidence of financial coercion, assault, and destruction of educational opportunity, I'm inclined to grant summary judgment. Mr. Riker, do you have any viable defense? Dale's lawyer stood weakly. We request a payment plan, Your Honor. My client's assets are frozen. Because he's under federal investigation for tax fraud. The judge interrupted. I've seen the case file. She turned to me. Ms. Ellison, you've been extraordinarily patient and thorough in documenting these crimes. The court awards you the full amount requested, $64,800 in restitution, $32,000 in lost educational opportunity, $15,000 in emotional distress, and $8,000 in medical costs. Dale exploded. This is bullshit. She lived in my house. She ate my food. Mr. Riker, one more outburst and I'll hold you in contempt, Judge Henley warned. Ms. Ellison paid your mortgage, paid for a non-existent mortgage on a house you inherited free and clear. She was the victim of systematic financial abuse. The gavel came down. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $119,800. Given Mr. Riker's pending criminal cases, liens will be placed on all current and future assets until this debt is satisfied. As court security prepared to escort Dale back to jail, Jennifer played our final card. She handed the judge another document. Your Honor, Westbrook State University has provided a sworn statement that Ms. Ellison's acceptance was valid and that Mr. Riker's destruction of her acceptance letter constitutes interference with educational opportunity. The DA is adding felony interference charges. Dale's face went white. Each charge was another 5 years potentially. He was looking at 20 to 30 years total if convicted on everything. Additionally, Jennifer continued, Tyler Riker has agreed to testify as a state witness in exchange for reduced charges. He'll serve 6 months house arrest and 3 years probation. Tyler sat in the back row, head down. He'd chosen self-preservation over family loyalty, just like his father had taught him. As they led Dale away, he turned one last time, mouth opening for some final threat. But Judge Henley cut him off. "Mr. Riker, you've already violated your restraining order twice from jail. The next violation will add 5 years to whatever sentence you receive. I suggest you learn the meaning of silence." The courtroom doors closed behind him. That was the last time I ever saw Dale Riker in person. Outside the courthouse, reporters pushed forward with questions, but I had only one statement. Financial abuse is real abuse. Domestic violence isn't always physical. Document everything. Protect yourself, and never, ever let anyone convince you that family means accepting abuse. 3 weeks later, Dale was convicted on all counts: fraud, assault, tax evasion, disability fraud, and interference with educational opportunity. Total sentence 23 years with possibility of parole in 15. The federal tax charges alone would keep him locked up for a decade. The house was seized by the government and auctioned. After the church got their $48,000 and the IRS took their share, there was just enough left to start paying my judgment. I'd recover maybe half of what I was owed over the next 20 years from his prison wages and any future earnings. But the money wasn't the victory. The victory was sitting in my first MBA class at Westbrook State, fully funded by scholarships. It was sleeping through the night without fear. It was my credit score recovering as I rebuilt my savings. Linda never contacted me again. I heard she remarried in Tennessee, hopefully to someone better. Tyler served his house arrest and disappeared into obscurity, working construction somewhere in Georgia. As for me, I graduated with honors, landed a senior management position at a Fortune 500 company, and bought my own house with my own money, in my own name. Sometimes I drive past the old house, now home to a young family who has no idea of its history. They called me their cash cow, but I was never prey. I was just waiting for the right moment to show them my horns. When Dale burned my acceptance letter that night, he thought he was destroying my future. Instead, he lit the fuse of his own destruction. The lesson: document everything. Trust your instincts. Never let anyone make you feel guilty for protecting yourself. And remember, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Because when they burned my acceptance letter, they didn't kill my dreams. They freed me from my chains. Thank you so much for listening to my story. I'd love to know where you're listening from. Please comment below and let's connect. If this story resonated with you, please subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts. Your support means everything. And remember, you're stronger than you know.